morning, Green Spring. Today we have Lynn Keith to tell us about what's going on in General Services. And of course, all of you know, I'm sure, that General Services is probably the most active directors around here. I mean, we've got lots of stuff going on all the time. So, Lynn, good morning. Welcome to
Good morning.
Village in Motion.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And what do we have this morning?
As you said, there's always something going on. You know, I was at new employee orientation yesterday, and as I always tell the folks, especially those who it's their very first day, I say probably your first concern is, how do I find my way back to where I parked my car? Because it's a big place, 2.5 million square feet under roof, so always something. But I'm pleased to announce we have 2 new staff who have joined us.
Oh,
a couple positions we've been recruiting for a while. So one is Gary Gillum, and Gary is our new project manager.
Oh.
Now some folks may remember Gary. He was with us just about a year ago and came in as a facility coordinator after he retired from his career, and just he was a little more skilled probably than that, but left for a dream job that just didn't quite pan out. We're thrilled to have him back. So he joins the project management team.
That's Gary Gillum?
Gary Gillum.
Okay, good.
And then we also have Rodney Taylor. He's been with us now several weeks. Another Rodney. Rodney is the supervisor for security for the day shift.
Oh, okay.
And he's been in the hospitality industry for over 20 years. Great addition to the team. Folks will meet him as he's in and around campus.
So those are 2 important. Now, how many other do you need to fill?
We actually only have, we've got some what we call pipeline positions.
Okay.
Our flex pool, folks that fill in communication, some non-CDL drivers, and a couple of flex security positions that again fill in when staff are on vacation.
Yeah.
So we're in a pretty good place.
Good.
Yes. So projects, there's always something going on, and
there's a lot of them.
These days there's, yes, even more. So the window and door project continues. We have had a few issues with some of the swing door installs in both neighborhood 1 and 2, and we are addressing that. The team has taken a few days to just go address some of those issues, and that will continue. So if folks have issues, please make them known, and we'll get that work scheduled.
I know my sliding door works very well. I'm very pleased with that.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes there's a little bit of an adjustment involved. Just make sure folks are making the right call, and they'll come take care of that. We also have the continuation of the walk-in freezer replacement in the Jefferson kitchen.
Jefferson or Fireside?
I'm sorry, Fireside.
Oh.
Thank you. I didn't want to use the acronym CB1, and I still got it
Good.
wrong. So, in the Fireside kitchen, and that work continues. It's a replacement of the freezer, the floor, and as I've said before, you know, we've had a bit of a delay because as you remove more and more, sometimes you find things.
What created that? That's quite a delay. It's about a six-week delay, or?
Well, no. That's the entire phase 1. We had about a 2-week delay in once we got started. What they found under the floor, we needed to do some additional reinforcement. Okay. We want to make sure that that it's done properly and sealed well. And
but they're not. They don't expect to go to the phase 2 until about the middle of October, right?
Correct, correct. They'll probably take a bit of a pause in between and finishing 1 to make sure everything's in place. So keep your eye to dining. Will obviously be providing information as they're impacted by any change.
Yeah, I eat there every night, so.
Okay, so you keep an eye on it then. All right. So neighborhood 2 signage, we've been talking about that for some time. A good portion of it has been installed. We did find some omissions on some of the signs, so they've been sent back to have some additional engraving done. Those will be back with us very shortly.
Some lady asked me yesterday afternoon, apparently one of the signs going toward Hunter's Crossing had omitted Hunter's Crossing.
Yes.
Is that one that you're catching up on?
Yes, we continue to. Okay. They've been walked many times, but some we found that were errors on the vendor's part. So
it's so easy because interior signage is extremely difficult.
It is. We try and have at least 4 10, 12 sets
Yeah.
of eyes.
I noticed, for
look at it.
example, coming in Hampton Place, it says wood shop, and it's an arrow that points to the opposite wall. It doesn't tell you which way to go. And
Well, we're trying to make sure there's enough signage, not too much, but it's
difficult.
it's always a process. And with that, you and I have talked a little bit about the signs that have gone up in some areas, and you and I will talk more, the signs that we're talking about. When somebody calls a taxi or has a delivery, it can be confusing because there are multiple doors assigned to the same building number. So look for more information. We'll have a full communication rollout so that residents can best use that once everything's installed.
Good.
Folks have asked too at the coffee with the exec team about the damage. We had an accident over at Canterbury Square several weeks ago, and because the damage to the building was structural in nature, we've had lots of engineers in and the county involved, and that work is beginning this week. Will take 2 to 3 weeks to complete, but it is in process. They've been working diligently to make sure that that happens.
I guess that type of accident is one that we probably could have expected more of, but where a person mistakes the accelerator for the brake. Or
it certainly does happen. I think, you know, we see it in the news outside of this area. Accidents happen. I guess that's why they call them accidents. We're grateful no one was seriously injured. So we'll get the building taken care of. That we can do. Second elevator in process still. We're working with the county.
That's Village Square?
The Village Square second elevator that will go over near where the screened-in porch is, and we hope to have renderings in the next several weeks so that folks can get an idea of what that's going to look like. We'll also be beginning the design work for Village Square just to do a life cycle refresh in that area.
Just in that area?
Just in that area. It will include tables and chairs. You know, there's been information out about the chairs, so once all that is done, we'll get renderings for that too in the coming months. A little bit of a follow-up. Some folks may remember Hans Keller, our IT vice president, came down in June, met with residents. Marie Lee did a compilation of a lot of information with some concerns from residents. And so Hans returned on September the 12th, talked about some of those findings and how we go forward. But we also had a tech-savvy group of residents with some more specific questions. And so Hans agreed that resident town hall probably wasn't the best forum because it would have been not appropriate or not interesting for all those participants. So a small group of folks, we're saying the computer club, but it's a small group that will get together with a couple of Hans network engineers to address some very specific questions about functionality, some of things residents are still experiencing, so we can better address that. That meeting is going to occur on October the 5th. So what they have asked is that residents who have a concern or want to have something addressed by that small technical group, they should get their questions or concerns to Chuck Harding or Dave Smith.
Oh, okay.
And you see that information on the screen. In addition, one of the things that Hans shared was there's a website that folks can go to with a speed test. Some folks have been concerned about the upload and or download speed that they're experiencing in their apartment. And so we have that slide as well, and that information was shared at his session. It's you see it there, http://ELM. It's a speed test that you can run on any of your devices, any mobile device, anything that's connected to the Greenspring Connect network, and you want to record that information, and then they can help you understand why your speeds may vary between devices. So
yeah, we're down to 2 minutes.
okay, so time runs fast, doesn't it? So, you know, as we're talking about many things on campus, there's a lot of movement, and so I want to make sure that safety is always at the forefront. Whether we're walking or driving, we want to make sure that everybody's safe. So a reminder of the speed limit, proceed with caution when we're coming out of doors. That's so important because we have lots of additional folks here on campus. So few other things coming up that the team is working on. Additional interior door at Grove Terrace. They're working with the vendor. We'll get dates once they get close to the time to install that. There are also several doors on campus that have already been ordered up for replacement.
Good.
Jackson Court Hampton Place link door, Grove Terrace 10, that's the exterior door that already exists, and Oak Hill door 3. But as always, make sure that you're calling in a work order so that we can get that work lined up. And if you don't see the results, give us a call.
That's certainly more important for someone to call in a work order than to talk to one of us.
You know, as I tell the staff, venting might make you feel good or you can discuss it, but if you want action, you gotta make the right call, so.
That's right, yeah.
So we have lots going on. And I think those are, the work orders are great. Look for a snow sign up coming. You know, I don't even like to say the S word, but we'll have our vehicle clearing subscription service. That information will be coming because we're entering that time of year, even though we can't tell it right now from the 80 and 90 degree temperatures. So get out and take a look at repositioning over at Garden Ridge. Things have come out of the ground, and if you haven't seen it in a while, go take a look.
Yeah, I see it about once a week.
Okay, and so you see some progress. There's
I do every
the
week.
stairwells, and you know, lots of movement happening over there. So if you're at all interested in that, that's a good place to view it. And one last reminder before we run out of time: take your survey. I know we'll have more information, but I like to say, don't let your neighbors speak for you.
Well, that's true, and everyone should make sure you do get your survey in. If you haven't. If you laid it aside, pull it out now and start working on it.
Yeah.
It's very important for Green Spring that we get your comments, that we get your ratings. And I think we'll have a little more on that and our role in it. Thank you very much, Lynn, for coming today and telling us about general services. I know people are always interested in what's going on around the campus, and they see something different. They wonder, well, why, or maybe that's a good thing, or finally that's happening, or something like that.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. So if we could have a roll in on the